There's a few things you should know before I say these things. I'm not deaf, personally. I prefer subtitles anyways. The reason for this is that I've never seen a speaker system that is literally perfect at reproducing sounds that are spoken into it. That has not happened ever. And sometimes the audio that comes out of it is here. You can hear it, but it doesn't come through clear. That's what happens some of the time. So it gets garbled. You hear it, but you can't decipher it. You know, I'm not deaf or hard of hearing. It's just that not all the audio that comes towards me is necessarily deciphered by my brain in a coherent fashion. Every so often, something will come at me that just doesn't actually come through clearly. So I will hear it, but I won't actually understand what I'm listening to. And that is the crux of the problem when it comes to stereo systems and everything else, which kind of causes me, as somebody that has a preference for completeness, to watch subtitled content. But anyways, I hate this fucking action combat system, and I grew up like the rest of you who are watching, most likely in the United States, or at least in the West, or if not the West, in the westernized world, which would also include countries like New Zealand and Australia, which are technically in the Eastern Hemisphere, but very American anyways. So, um, my frustration though is just that, like the rest of you that grew up in this like USAian culture, which I have to kind of distinguish from Canada and Mexico, but here in the United States, is that gamers, like North American gamers, I can't fucking stand most of you. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Like, your taste is like the definition of awful in games. Like, you like shit and you review it and you fucking praise it as if it was gold. I mean, it's totally the opposite of the way that most of you see it, and that's, I think, my frustration in such a huge way. Now, I see, and unfortunately, we hear so much now these days about how turn-based combat sucks and how terrible it is, and everything else. And I've never been one of those people that's like one for weak takes on things, and they will say that turn-based combat is the opposite of fun, and I'm just like sitting here like, no. And I see this is the exact opposite of reality. Action based combat is the definition of stress, and that's all it is. So it's nothing fun about it, which is exactly why I don't pay a fucking subscription to Final Fantasy 14. I pay my subscription to Final Fantasy 11. Because although that system isn't entirely turn-based, it is at least still fun to fucking play. I gave my money to Octopath Traveler because fuck this action fucking combat takeover of the Final Fantasy franchise. I'm not throwing money at a combat system I don't fucking want. And I have to make myself visible, in my opinion, visible out there, because unfortunately the other perspective is gaining prominence. Get the fuck out of the fucking like RPG scene and just go the fuck away. No one wants your perspective or opinion. God bless gatekeeping to keep people like you the fuck out. I hate it. I mean, like, turn-based combat is some of the most fun gaming I've ever actually played, and the thing is that everybody else has this like, I want these ultra stressful and ultra challenging action, sequences, and this game is shit if the combat system is one in which I can just hit the square button and jam into things and everything. The combat's too easy in these action, and I'm just like sitting here like, please fucking kill me now. Oh, I fucking hate all of you. I fucking hate all of your fucking opinions. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. So the cold hard truth is that I live in a culture and a society And North American gamers, to be honest with you, have grown up on a whole bunch of competing titles. And to them, Final Fantasy and the RPG space is just one game, one type of game compared to all the other types of games. And to me, it's the only type of game. Fuck all the rest of them. I don't play other styles. I never have had any interest in any of the other ones. I think that first person shooters are complete garbage. Got no interest in ever fucking laying my hands on one of them. It's not even just that I fucking suck at those games. I can't understand why anybody would like them in the fucking first place. I don't get it what the fucking appeal is. It doesn't really seem like the kind of game that you could sink into and play for like to the point in which it became an outright addiction. I don't get how people like burn away so much of their lives to fucking first person shooters. It doesn't coherently make a goddamn bit of sense now, but I understand people melting away and becoming completely addicted to a game like Final Fantasy XI because I've been there too. I've seen and had that addiction and had to break it and break away from the game for like 10 years, like I did, to get away from some of the memories that had been depressing me for a while there because of my partner who I met in the game, and then things went sideways. But that none of that matters. Like it's not important right now. But the thing is that I fucking hate it. I fucking hate like, and this difference in styles also like translates even to this space. Like, to be honest with you, as somebody that grew up in the United States, like I noticed the way that whenever I had North American players in Final Fantasy XI, and I don't mean to come off as somebody that traffics in stereotypes and everything else, but unfortunately, American gamers were just so like largely self-involved as a block, and if you needed something that was non-standard and you asked for help, your friends would be like, oh no, I did that like a while back, fuck you, go find a fucking pickup group, screw off. And that was largely the experience. And then I started asking random Europeans for help, and it was like, oh, I'm in the middle of something, but could you give me a little bit? I'll come help you when I'm done. And that was like the qualitative difference between asking people from different countries. It was such a thing that I had gotten to the point in which I would just deliberately discriminate against, asking anybody that was from North America, and just completely micro target people from like France and the UK and Germany to ask for help. And while I was playing Final Fantasy 11, it turned into pro tip. And if you play yourself, I mean, as a person that's from here, like, pro tip, if you need help with anything, avoid asking the North Americans. For the most part, they're not going to ultimately help you. They're going to be like, I'm doing my own things, fuck off. you know just a pro tip from somebody that's been playing for a while. you know just a thing. And it made me kind of have a very sour perspective on American gamers. I mean, and it's not just that, it's like you guys don't even take fucking these games all that fucking seriously. Like, your playstyle just fucking abysmal too. It's like you don't even care if you aren't doing things all that well as a player. It's just like, for you, it's just like, oh, if hey, as long as we slug through it and manage to beat it, who the fuck cares? And the Japanese just don't take that approach at all. They'll analyze the elemental wheel. They'll do everything in their power to maximize the damage. If you don't succeed at getting your magic burst off, somebody's going to complain at you and honk honk, make the noise at you to get your attention. That kind of thing never fucking happens in North American parties in that game. I mean, it was such a joy back in the day playing with exp parties that were Japanese because of that, because it was like everything would go off without a hitch and be completely just done for absolute efficiency. And it meant that it would boost the exp that you would get by at least a good 20%. with them, so it was at least 20% faster. Playing if you could actually, find a Japanese party that was desperate enough to invite somebody that wasn't capable of speaking the language as well as they were. You would get lucky in that kind of situation. But no, I mean, like I've hated my North American comrades for a while now. And it's like, it's like I find the comment section and they're like, Final Fantasy 16 sucks compared, you know, God of War's combat is so much better. I'm like, you know what? Fuck action combat. Just, like, seriously, like Final Fantasy 15's combat system suck. 16's like combat system sucks, but it's not because it's not like action enough, and it's not because it doesn't shine compared to titles like God of War. It sucks because it's action based instead of turn based.